If you've ever set a goal like, I want to be happy or I want to be fit, this video is for you. My name is Vic, and today I'm going to teach you how to actually set goals that matter, goals that move the needle, and goals that actually get you to accomplish things in your life. Today's video is not going to be about fluff or any BS. I'm actually going to teach you exactly what I do in my life to help me set goals that I achieve and that complete my purpose. Today, we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. But before we get there, I want to tell you something. I used to think that setting goals was a hard thing. I used to think that it was impossible to reach any type of goal you set. But then I realized it wasn't actually the goals that were the problem. It was the way I set them. Before I carry on, I want to tell you a little story about how much I messed up at the beginning of my goal setting journey. I used to think, hey, let me just manifest this. Let me just be thinking real hard about this goal and it's going to achieve itself. I went as far as into thinking, hey, do I need crystals, to become a millionaire by next year? Spoiler alert, nothing helped. The truth is, along this journey, I actually did learn something. I learned that a goal with no structure, no path, or no brain behind it is basically just fantasy in disguise. And this is what led me down a path of, hey, I want to explore and how I can set goals that actually I can complete and actually matter. One day I stumbled across a framework that actually changed everything for me. And no, it is not some mythical crystal kind of thing or a morning routine or anything of the sort. I want you to think about goal setting as IKEA furniture. I want you to think about all of the things that go into building IKEA furniture. You need the pieces, you need the instructions, and most importantly, you need to not rage halfway through. You need to stay consistent and you need to give it your all. So that is why today we're going to be talking about how to set SMART goals. When I say SMART, I don't mean clever goals and I don't mean goals that actually, are SMART. SMART is an acronym and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And I'm going to take you through each of those letters so that you can best understand what it means to set a goal that is SMART. So let's start with S. S stands for specific. Specific basically means I want to make sure that this goal is as specific as possible. So if you're setting a goal like, I want to be fit or I want to be a billionaire, there's no specificity in it, right? But if you set a goal that says, I want to lose 10 pounds by July, that basically encapsulates the whole thing. And I'm going to walk you through it. You're specifically saying, I want to lose 10 pounds. Right? That means you're going to be fit. That means you're going to be healthier, etc., etc. But it does a couple of more things that just keep it specific. Let's go to the second letter in the acronym SMART. M. M stands for measurable. If you can't track it, you can't tweak it. 10 pounds, that's trackable. I want to feel better? Not so much, right? The next letter in the acronym SMART is A. A stands for achievable. And this is where you're going to have your reality check. This is where you're going to be thinking, okay, what is something that I can actually achieve so that this goal matters? I want to climb Mount Everest. Great goal. Is it achievable? If I set out today, probably not. You need to practice. So maybe a more realistic goal here would be, I want to begin climbing a mountain, right? So this is something that's more achievable. And you need to break it down because the more realistic it feels, the more you're going to be able to do your goal. The next letter in the acronym SMART is R. R stands for relevant. Your goals need to matter to you, not to the gram, not to your cousin who has a bunch of crypto. They need to matter to you. So what I want to do with a goal is basically make it so that I am so motivated to achieve it that I'm not going to stop thinking about it. And that is where relevant comes in. And the last letter of the acronym is time-bound. Now, when I say time-bound, I basically use this in the very first example I gave you. I want to lose 10 pounds by July. July. A deadline is the difference between a goal and a wish. If a deadline doesn't exist, it doesn't make it real. So I want you to be thinking always, what is the deadline that I need to do this goal for me to ensure that it works? Okay, so I broke down SMART goals for you and what they are, but I want to actually give you the science behind it and why they work. In the description, I'm going to put a little SOP that you can follow on how to set your first SMART goal and what you need to do in order to achieve them. So stay tuned. Why do SMART goals work? SMART goals work because your brain sees a clear path to victory, to success. And this triggers our reward system. We're just like any other being on this planet, right? When you're training a dog or any type of animal, you always use the reward system. What you do is you load your hand with a bunch of crackers, and as soon as they do the trick or the command, you feed it to them, right? That is how we work with goals. The little hit of progress is that dopamine hit, like checking out a workout or logging your budget. It just fills you up with so much positive energy and it creates momentum. And that is right. Momentum is the magic word because it's all about progress, not perfection. Progress is what keeps you going. So this is why you need consistency. So that is the logic behind, how to set SMART goals, why they work. But I want to tell you a couple of things that actually kill goals, that destroy goals, and that you should at all costs avoid doing. The first thing is setting too many goals. Setting too many goals is just putting like too much food on your plate. You're going to overeat, you're going to feel bad. Setting too many goals is setting yourself up for failure. So you need to remember, whenever you're setting goals, you need to set goals just as much as you can accomplish them, right? So if I'm going to set 20, 50, 100 goals, I'm always going to fail that. But if I set 1 to 3 goals, and once I do them, I set my new 1 to 3 goals, I'm always going to make sure that I'm reaching that level of reward. And it's just going to make me feel so much better. The next thing is setting goals based on guilt or comparison. We've all done it, right? You've been looking at an Instagram profile and you're thinking, God damn, I want to be like them. Setting a goal when it comes to comparison is setting yourself again up for failure. It's never good. What you need to do is figure out the best path for you. Whether that is the same path as the person that, you see on Instagram, perhaps, but are you going to be taking the same steps as them? Most likely not. The next thing that absolutely destroys goals is actually not writing them down. If you have a goal, but all you do is just think about it every now and then, you're never going to be able to see it in front of you. You're never going to be able to visualize the steps that go into goals, right? And that is one of the next topics we're going to talk about in another video. How to segment your goals, how to make it into bite-sized chunks so that you can always accomplish them. And the last thing is keeping them only in your head. That is where motivation dies quietly. You need to be very vocal about them. You need to be following through. You need to be doing everything you can in order to make sure that you hit your goals. After this video, what I want you to do is just take a goal, write it on a piece of paper, and figure out a way to SMARTify it. Put all of the things we just mentioned in this video on that goal, and that is going to help you actually create an achievable SMART goal. Once you do that, you're going to be surprised. Life isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters on purpose. And SMART goals, they make that possible. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Go down in the description to check out the SOP that I mentioned. Use that template to create your own SMART goals. Drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.